Welcome to the Scottish Basketball Podcast. In this episode, I look ahead to the 3x3 basketball tournaments at the 2026 Commonwealth Games in Glasgow with wheelchair men's player Shayne Humphries.
I'm delighted to welcome Shayne to the podcast. Hi, Shayne.
Hi.
Maybe just give us an overview, just chat us through what's preparation been like, sort of take us from maybe when you found out about selection through to where the team's at now, just with a couple of weeks before the tournament starts.
So, as I say, we found out properly about the team a few weeks ago, and since finding out, basically, it's just been individually, it's just been training every day, at a high intensity, and not doing something, whether it be going on court, getting shots up, going into the gym, or something like swimming, something like that, just do fitness and that. So it's been training every day, and then we just recently had a training camp as well, where it was all the squads came together and that to come train, which was pretty good to be fair. It was good to get the actual group together for us, and it was good to see the able-bodied guys and that, the running squad and that, just to kind of socialise with them a bit as well, which is pretty cool.
How has the sort of team chemistry developed in that time, and do you think there's still a bit of work left before the start of the competition?
I think team chemistry-wise, I think we've done pretty well in that. We've been doing stuff a lot on court, obviously, together with the camp. We spent basically a good few days together and that, training twice a day together. And then off court, still socialising, doing that side of things as well. Non-basketball stuff is always quite good for team chemistry as well, because you just get to know the people and that around you a bit better. But yeah, no, I think it's definitely gotten better from where it was, because obviously prior to this, we hadn't really spoken to each other a lot, because we all come from kind of different areas and all that sort of thing. So we know each other, but it's just been one of the things that we haven't had a lot, or at least me personally, apart from say Finlay, I hadn't really spoken to Tyler or Ross as much. But obviously since the squad's been selected, gotten to know them a bit better on court and off court and stuff like that, and it's been pretty good. But yeah, no, I think there's definitely still work to be done, but that's just natural. There's always going to be something. But I think compared to where we were a good few weeks ago when we started, I think team chemistry has definitely gotten a lot better.
Amazing. You talk about the guys there, where do you think each bring sort of specific attributes to the team that sort of makes the group work as a unit? And I suppose maybe talk about what's your role on offense, defense, and how that sort of complements or contrasts to the other guys in the team.
Yeah. So my role, I'll be starting off on the bench and that, just to start off with rotations and everything. So for me, my role, obviously, whilst I'm on the bench, just be loud, obviously shouting out shot clock, all that sort of thing. But then when I come on with energy, I need to make sure I'm coming on with that, as we described it, as that oomph. Make sure to kind of come on with that effect. But yeah, no, I think with the squad that we have, I think we've got quite a good kind of idea of what everyone needs to do. It's then just the case of actually executing it. We had times at camps where we done scrimmage and stuff and that, and it worked really well on some occasions. But then equally, there was also times where we kind of switched off for a wee bit and it wasn't working as well. But when we're switched on, everyone was doing the right thing at the right time, and it worked really well, I think.
How does the sort of 3x3 format change the demands on decision making, shot selection? How does the game in 3x3 play differently to what you're all used to with 5x5?
Yeah, the 3x3, obviously, for those who know basketball, 3x3 is a lot faster paced, and you have less time. 5v5, you've got a 24-second shot clock, whereas 3x3 is 12 seconds, so you've got half the time to be able to do something, and that's before the ball's even cleared as well. So by the time you've cleared the ball, sometimes you've then got, depending on how quick you've been, 9 seconds from that point to then do something with it. So I think something that we've spoke about it, and I think it's something that we're obviously trying to work on ourselves, is that when we've got a good shot, just take it. Again, unless someone else is in that exact moment got a layup or something like that. But if there's nothing else going on and we've got a good shot, we just need to learn just to take it, because we've not got time to be able to just kind of muck about and kind of try and find something to then chuck up a last second shot. If we've got something, we just need to take it while we'll have it.
You mentioned there about just the pace of the game, and I suppose just the physical demands of 3x3 being it's just a relentless game. How do you look at the sort of condition of the group right now? Any injury concerns, or I suppose how is the fitness of the group been sort of say in this preparation in the run up to the competition?
I think overall, yeah, I think we're good. Again, I think the big thing for us is more just being mentally switched on. I think that's the main thing. Physicality wise, I think as a group, we're fine. Again, we'll have our moments, and stuff. But I think when we have our moments, it's more down to how switched on are we in that moment in time. Like say our brain switches off for a second, how much does that second kind of cost with, basically. But I think physically, as a group, we're doing not too bad. Like, well, again, we'll all kind of have our own different strengths and compared to each other, like what we're better at. But I think as a group overall wise, I think physicality wise and that, I think we're fine. It's then just more how switched on are we.
What do you think is like the single biggest thing that sort of switch to 3x3 for the competition has taught you about your own game? Like, what do you think you've learned about yourself? Obviously, playing 5x5 most of the time. Like, what has the format sort of demanded of you, and what do you think is like the sort of the biggest difference or the biggest thing that you've noticed in your own game?
I think for myself, there's also me and the coach and I had a chat in that at camp as well. Is that sometimes I'll just it was a thing with the whole group as well, but I think for me personally, it was just thinking too much. Like kind of thinking like, oh, like obviously as I said, like we just need to take a shot if we get it, like all them sort of things. Obviously, when I'm playing, I had occasions where I'd be sat there like, oh, is this the right decision? Or if something messes up, I'm then like apologising for it instead of just getting on with it, like all that sort of thing. Which is obviously something that I've been obviously working on for quite a while, but I have gotten better at it. But again, I have my moments. But I think for me, it's more just the mental side of things, like just kind of how overthinky I can get, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I suppose a similar question. Like, is there a sort of singular habit from the 5x5 game that you've had to like completely unlearn or sort of temporarily put in a box away that's sort of completely against the run of play in 3x3 or is a bit destructive? Like, is there anything that's like maybe a strength that you have in the 5x5 game that you sort of have to sort of manage or adjust for that 3x3 format?
Yeah, that was another conversation obviously we had with the coach and stuff like that. He was saying that there's obviously things with 5v5 that we just kind of need to kind of rework and like rewire ourselves completely to play like 3x3, which we've all played 3x3 and that before. Like it's not anything new to it. I think it's just going from switching from playing 5v5 to now all of a sudden, yeah, cool, we're focusing on 3x3. Like there obviously is different styles. So there's a few things we just kind of need to switch around. And one of the things again is that kind of like how quickly are you thinking, or are you thinking at all? Basically, like you kind of just need to do things in 3x3. You don't have enough time to think about whether it's the right decision or wrong decision. You just kind of need to just do it and live with it. Like you, if you just want to chat about it afterwards, you can. But in the moment, you just kind of need to get on with it, and then that's it. Whereas in 5v5, you've got a wee bit more time to kind of think about things. Because again, 24-second shot clock. By the time you get up the court with the ball, if you're fast enough, realistically, that's like at least 18 seconds. Then in the 3x3 game, you'll have like 9. So you've got like generally again about half the time to be able to actually do anything. So in the 5v5 game, you've definitely just got a lot more time to be able to think about what you're doing, whereas in 3x3 you don't. So I think in terms of that sense, we just need to kind of rewire ourselves just to be able to just do things and just live with it.
Like, what do you think is a realistic target for the Scotland wheelchair teams in the games? And I suppose regardless of ranking or classification, like what does a successful tournament look like to you anyway?
I mean, us the squad, obviously, we want to medal. Like that is the goal, is to medal at home. But I don't really know. That's something obviously I think as a group we need to kind of talk about. I don't think we've really ever spoke about like as a group what do we view as success. Obviously, again, we've all spoke about like obviously, yeah, cool, we want to get a medal, and I think that might be kind of like where we stand with it. But in terms of like just a general or how do we define the successes? I don't think we've had a proper conversation, but the goal is to win a medal of some kind.
What does sort of putting on a Scotland jersey at home games in Glasgow sort of mean to you personally?
Oh, it's everything. Like, realistically, we're not going to have anything like this for years to come. Like, obviously, there was obviously the Commonwealth Games. Was it in Glasgow? When was it again? 2014?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 2014 Glasgow. And obviously, again, we just got lucky that to take it again, because originally, obviously, it was meant to be in Victoria, which I was quite happy about anyway, because I've got family in Australia, so I was kind of thinking, oh, if I get selected, I'll be able to go see them. Cool. But no, it being changed to Glasgow, honestly, like there's going to be nothing like it for us. Like we can go obviously and do stuff with like GB and everything like that, like in the future at some point. But there's not going to be anything like putting on a Scotland jersey at home where you're going to have like a full crowd in that cheering you on. There's going to be nothing like that. So I'm buzzing for it.
Is there any particular one moment across the sort of the tournament itself that you're most looking forward to?
I think it's more just the first walkout, basically. Just to kind of be able to absorb that feeling of like, oh, this is what the games are going to be like. Again, every other games after, or all the games after that throughout the tournament, it'll just be like, again, I'll still feel the same in terms of like appreciation for it all. But I think just the very first one will hit a wee bit different, and same thing like possibly the opening ceremony and stuff. Because I've had like I went to an opening ceremony before. I had one last year, and that when I went away to Germany for the World University Games, and that was really fun. So I'm excited to see what it's going to be like again when we're the home team, like having all that sort of thing as well. So probably opening ceremony or the opening like game, like when we come out and that kind of initial feeling of like, oh, this is what we've got kind of rooting for us with the crowd and that.
Do you know, or I suppose at this point, like who's going to be in the crowd supporting you, and I suppose who are you playing for when you're stepping out onto the court?
Yeah, I've got a few family in that come along, some friends in that have bought tickets and that to some of the games. My mum and my nana and my sister are staying in a hotel in Glasgow and that, and obviously are going to stay and watch through the whole games. And that I've got friends coming along to a couple of the games. My girlfriend's going to come along to the group stage and stuff like that with some of her family. But yeah, no, I've got a few people in that come along, and then I've had a few messages every now and again from like people from uni that I know and that like either know through like basketball or something like that, or just through my course. I've given us messages being like, oh yeah, cool, we're going to come along like this day. So knowing that obviously I've got quite a few people in that coming to support feels quite good, to be fair.
Amazing. And just finally, I suppose beyond any medaling, beyond the sort of experience that you're going to have personally and as a group, like I suppose what would you want, like a first time VX3 viewer or maybe even a first time wheelchair basketball viewer to sort of take away from watching Scotland play in this games?
I think obviously if they're there to watch both the wheelchair and the running game, like obviously it's like as much as obviously again they're both 3x3, they're still both like two very different two very different games. So I think going and kind of watching the both of them will be a good experience because everyone kind of knows the 5v5 game to some extent. Even if you don't watch basketball, you know kind of roughly what it is. Whereas the 3x3 game is just so much more physical. It's so much quicker. So I think coming in to watch that is going to be a bit of an eye-opener for those that don't know basketball or don't know 3x3 specifically. And obviously the wheelchair, it's always good just to have people coming along to watch wheelchair stuff and that, because obviously I want to try and get the kind of knowledge or the awareness of the sport up, because obviously again, like at high levels, it is a intense sport. Like, so I think getting the awareness of it up and that, obviously again on that kind of level of stage is going to be quite good as well, just to kind of spread awareness of the sport and kind of be like, oh yeah, it's not just kind of like as some people might see it. Again, not really as much anymore, but it might be seen kind of as like a charity sport. Obviously, again, those with disabilities get together, come play sport. Like, whereas at the high levels, it is just high-level athletes still playing. It's just slightly different. And that's so I think kind of advertising the sport as a whole will be quite good for those that obviously don't really have much knowledge on it.
Amazing, Shayne. Thanks very much for your time today and best of luck with the competition.
Thank you, mate.
Thanks for listening to the Scottish Basketball Podcast. If you liked this episode, share it with a friend who you think would like it too. We post weekly episodes on the senior game in Scotland. You can join for free on Patreon, Spotify and YouTube to receive a notification when new episodes are released. Access to the podcast episodes will always be free. You can, however, make a contribution for yourself or for someone else as a gift through membership on Patreon. However small and infrequent, any contribution is very helpful and very much appreciated. You can get in touch with the podcast by sending us a message on Instagram or an email. Join us again soon for another episode. Goodbye.